This morning, when I arrived early here at the studio, I went to pull into the driveway, and there was a body lying face down, sprawled across the driveway. I couldn't put the car there. And I immediately thought the worst, and it scared me a little bit. My studio, for those of you that don't know, is in the Main and Hastings area of the Vancouver's downtown east side. So it's got a very high population of drug users, and this is kind of like the home of prostitution in Vancouver, and it's a pretty rough area, and there's a lot of lost and hurting souls here. So this isn't new for me to run into people who are in some sort of state of drug-induced something. It's very common here. But I'd never really seen anything like that, where the person was sort of face down and not moving. And I got out of the car and I took a deep breath and asked if the person was okay, and they weren't moving. And I got close enough to the body to look, and it wasn't breathing. All dressed in black, skinny body. Couldn't tell if it was male or female. So I realized I had to call 911, which I did. Started talking to the ambulance dispatch, and when I started talking to the person on the phone, the body started to move and sit up, and I realized it was a young woman. And I told the ambulance dispatch that the person was rousing, and they asked me to check to see if they needed an ambulance, and I did. And something in that moment shifted for me. I've always been, I think, scared of these people. I don't know how to relate to them. They're so sick. They're in so much pain. And their behavior causes messes for us. So it is a really, frankly, it's inconvenient to have somebody's human poo all over your driveway when you come in to work in the morning, or needles everywhere that you feel like you can't bring your kids to school or to your work with you. And so there's all these mixed feelings that came up for me. But when this woman just looked at me and I asked her if she was okay, I really looked at her face, and there was something in me that made a choice to be with her differently this morning than I've maybe ever been with any of the other people that I've encountered in this neighborhood. And I got off the phone. They told me that, thank you for calling, and please call back if anything changes. And I got off the phone with her, and I just had a conversation with her. I asked her what she needed, and she was so apologetic. And I found myself loving her as though she was my daughter. It was a very strange experience, because this woman was, probably in her mid-20s. And I gave her my banana, and we had a little talk. She visited with my dog, who's a living teddy bear and would bring anybody back into this world in 2 seconds. And then I had to come inside to work because the alarm was going off, and I had to disarm the alarm. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because there was a moment in this morning's events where I chose to be with the situation differently. In the past, I've tried to protect myself from that scary world of pain and hurting and suffering. And I decided to be with it differently. And it wasn't like a big fancy way of being with it differently. I was just with her, and I just asked her what she needed, and I just was with her. And I saw her. I saw her for what she really is. I saw her heart. I saw her. I really did see her. And I feel that she saw me too, and it was really beautiful. And just an invitation to, maybe there's something in your life today that feels scary and overwhelming, and you tend to have a reaction of closing to it and just kind of trying to get past it as fast as you can. And maybe there's an opening. Maybe there's a way that you can be with it differently today and find a little bit more of yourself accidentally in the process.